Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. BQS559 Professional Practice. I am Dr. Asma Alia Muhammad Bohari. For this video, we will focusing on part 2 of our lecture on stakeholder obligations, which is on the contractor's obligations. And here are the subtopics. The contractor can be a person, partnership, or a company which carried out the construction work. The primary task of a contractor is to provide and organize resources so that the project is constructed in accordance with the design, stipulated time, and the cost parameters. Traditionally, construction projects were awarded to main contractor by the process of competitive tendering, either open or selective. In terms of implied terms, we have discussed about implied terms in our previous lecture. So for this contractor obligation, there are three implied terms: workmanship, material, and time. For workmanship, the contractor will do the work in a workmanlike manner, for instance, with a proper skills and care, and that he will proceed with reasonable diligence and complete within reasonable time. For materials, under Section 16 of the Sales of Goods Act 1957, the contractor impliedly warrants that the material he supplies are reasonably fit for the purpose and good merchantable quality. For time, where a building contract does not specify a date for completion, the contractor impliedly duty to complete within reasonable time in all circumstances. Express term, the basic obligation of the contractor is to carry out and complete the work in accordance with the contract document and to comply with the valid architect's or superintending officer's instruction. For example, the two most common form of contract that being used in Malaysia is the JKR form of contract and PAM standard form of contract. So in JKR 203A, under clause 10, clearly stated the express term for a contractor to construct, complete, test, and commission the works in accordance with the contract document. This clause should be read as well with clause 6 of JKR form of contract and clause 9. Completed work and design liability. Contractor will ensure that the completed work or building is reasonably fit for its intended purpose. Accordingly, it will not be implied where the contractor is merely to build in accordance with the detailed plan and specification, nor where the contractor is under the supervision of the architect. So in the case of Newham versus Taylor, 1981, the contractor entered a package deal contract for the erection of several blocks of flats. A gas explosion in the flat on the 18th story caused the southeast corner to collapse. So in this case, the court acquitted contractor for negligence and liable for the breach of contract. The flat is designed to be constructed so that they can be used and fit for the purpose. Under a traditional contract, the contractor is required to build only unless the contractor may be required to carry out design for some part of the work. For instance, under JKR 2010 clause 2022.1, if the contractor is required to undertake the design of any parts of the work, he is strictly liable for the design, materials, and the workmanship for that part of the works. It means absolutely guarantee the government independent of fault. Design by nominated subcontractor. Under a traditional type of contract where design is carried out by nominated subcontractor, it is unlikely the court would hold the main contractor responsible for any defect resulting from the design. So in the case of Norta Wallpapers vs. SIG 1978, the employer contracted with the main contractor under a traditional type of a building. In this Norta case, the main contractor was not liable for design defect in a roof structure. The main contractor had no option but to use subcontractor, his design and his price. Contractor risk. The first risk is on responsibility for site condition. So in the case of Bottom vs. York Corporation in 1892, it is a basic principle that the risk of adverse site condition rests with the contractor. The Court of Appeal held that in the York case, York had made no express guarantee or representation with regard to the ground condition that the contractor may encounter, and such Bottom was not entitled to additional payment. Second risk is on no implied warranty to accuracy of information. The principle that adverse site conditions are contractor risk is not altered merely because the employer provides plan or specification at the time of tender. So in this case, Sharpe vs. São Paulo Brazilian Railway, the judge state there are no in any sense of the word extra works and no extra payment was entitled. Working method. In terms of working method, as with the site condition, so is with working method. So in the case of Thorn vs. London Corporation, the judge mentioned if the building is built precisely as the architect says, but it blows down in the wind, the builder is not responsible for it blowing away. Nowadays, some builders say they will build and promise to build it. This is what we call a design and build. Contractor remedies. The contractor is provided with a number of contractual remedies in respect of delays and losses arising from act or default by the employer or his architect in some cases, such as force majeure. Remedies for non-payment by the employer include claiming interest on the amount not paid, suspension of performance, or determination. Some of these remedies are available concurrently. For example, the contractor may suspend the work and claim interest at the same time. Duty to warn. For instance, if there is defect design or available economic options, more economical option, it is a duty for a contractor to do it in writing to the superintending officer or the architect or his representative. So this can be referred to the case Edward Lindenberg vs. Joe Canning, 1992. It is wise to put the notice in writing. So that will be the end of part 2, contractor obligations. See you for part 3. So if you have any question, drop me an email at asmaalia@uitm.edu.my. Have a nice day, everyone.